Welcome everybody to the Hounds podcast. On this episode, we will be finishing out part 2 of our episode with Mr. Hunter Arnold of the Creek Howlers. They are coming out, the Creek Howlers band is coming out with a new Houndsmen song. It's a great song. I've been lucky enough to be able to get a little preview of it, and it should be coming out here for y'all shortly. Y'all be sure to check out on all your listening platforms across the way. And be sure to look up the Creek Howlers and keep an eye out for the new drop of their song. And you'll be able to tell which one it is. We're going to finish the conversation up about that, talk a bunch of dog stuff, man. And it's really a great conversation, guys. So y'all be sure, y'all sit tight, hold on tight. Here we go, guys. Let's cast the hounds. Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds Tales podcast. This is your home for field trialing and deer dog hunting. It'll be stories and discussions on the world of dog hunting. So let's drop the gate, cast your hounds, and get ready for another episode of the Hounds Tales podcast. When it's time to get ready for a field trial, deer season, or any other reason that you need to load up that dog box and you're in need of dog hunting supplies, look no further than Outdoor Dog Supply. Outdoor Dog Supply is the leader in online Garmin sales as well as the leader in Garmin and Tritronics trade-in programs. From GPS system to dog training aids to vitamins to supplements and everything in between. Put your trust in Outdoor Dog Supply. Super fast delivery, superior customer service, and a dedication to our sport. We are proud to partner with Outdoor Dog Supply and can't thank them enough for everything that they do for our sport. Visit their website today at outdoordogsupply.com or shoot them a call at 757-482-1000 for any of your hound hunting needs. Thank you, Outdoor Dog Supply.
I do really long for a time when how was it in the 90s when you went off on a trip that weekend and you were gone 3 or 4 days and you couldn't just
contact.
Text nobody,
right?
Yeah, you were just gone. Like, what was that like?
Right.
I really want to know.
Yep.
And I'm sadly probably I'll never get to know again. None of us will.
No, definitely not.
You've got to. Everybody wants to know exactly where you're at or whatever's going on all the time, and it's just like, and I think that's not good.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, I think that's a big lead in all this. We kind of talked about it beforehand. Like everybody's got something wrong with them, or I can't remember when the conversation was had, but there's always something going on or something wrong with somebody, some kind of anxiety and all that kind of stuff, is built up. But I think that's why, God love my wife, she likes to know when I leave work and stuff like that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But, sometimes after a really long, hard day, I get in the truck and I got a 30-minute ride back to the house. That's my time to turn the music on, decompress a little bit and be by myself, and I'll get 15-20 minutes home and I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to text and let her know. Not that it's a big deal, it's not it's not like she gets crazy about it, but and just back in the day when you got off of work, it wasn't all right, call me and let me know you're on your way, or text me and let me know you're on the way. It was just, all right, I know he should be leaving about this time, and if he doesn't, then they had to work late. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I really, it's wild. I don't really remember a time I do kind of half-assed remember a time not having a cell phone, but it seems like that, we talked about earlier how fast, as soon as we got on here, about how fast time goes. Mm-hmm. That's why I feel like the phone is why, like,
yep.
Nobody talks to anybody anymore. Nobody hangs out. Nobody goes over and shoots the shit, drinks a beer or two, and just talks about this or that or what. Nobody does that anymore because you can it's so easy to sit in your recliner, call somebody on the phone for 15 minutes and hang it up. Or the biggest thing to me, the wildest part about it all is the Facebook the whole social media thing is
Right.
everybody thinks they know everybody. And everybody is entitled to their own opinion, and that is rightly so. But, you know the old saying, everybody's opinion's kind of like rear ends and elbows. We all got them.
That's
you
right.
know what I mean?
That's right.
Like, that's,
yep.
yeah.
I remember back in college, man. I'm a caller, man. You can go back. My wife gives me crap because she's not a caller. She is a texter and don't call me kind of person. I am a caller. And she go like I'll pull my call log. I was like, I called this person a while back. Let me go back and just find it or find that number or whatever. And I'm like scrolling. She's like, how many people do you call a day, man? And I was like, I remember back in college, a buddy of mine, man, he were good friends and stuff like that. And I tried to call him. He said, why are you calling me? I'm like, what are you talking about? I call people just to sit around and shoot the bull. He goes, hey, no. He's like, no, just text me. He's like, if you want to hang out, come over and hang out. I'm like, oh, hell no. Come on, man.
I'm 100% an old soul with that. I'm 9 out of 10 times going to just call you.
Yep,
text. I feel if I'm on the phone, you can hear my voice, and my tonality to me is everything. You know when somebody's mad or pissed off or don't care to talk to you or whatever. You know immediately by hearing their voice that, like, well, he ain't having it, so whatever. Yeah. She's mad now. I gotta go. You know.
Right.
Whatever it is, like.
I mean, on that note, I just recently had a conversation with a landowner. A landowner had reached out to me on Facebook and was messaging me. And the conversation on Facebook started out okay, and then it was like things were being said, and because you couldn't hear tone behind it, both of us were starting to take things the wrong way. And we both noticed it, and we were like, and I told him, we both agree, we're like, hang on, this is getting out of hand. We're starting to type in exclamation points and capital letters, like, all right, let's calm down. Let's take it. And I told him, I said, look, I don't know how you are on the phone. I was like, but I like to have phone conversations. I said, let's kill off for about an hour. I was like, here's my number. Call me in an hour. And he called me in an hour, and we talked for about an hour and a half and had a great civil conversation, found a lot of common ground, and found a lot of points that we made together that we both understood each other. And we're willing to work together to try to find, and promote, ethical, different ways about trying to fix the problems that are going on, especially here in Virginia, and that just that one phone conversation made the difference,
Dude, I stand by, like, call me.
Yeah.
If texting,
right.
Texting me, I probably type like I'm illiterate. I'm not the best speller. Never won a spelling bee in my life, probably. Right. I know I haven't. I don't even have an award on my wall. Sure, I've never been a spelling bee champion. But texting it, I can't. It just don't. I've never been great at it. I can't text.
Right.
I can be like, yeah, hey man, call me. And then that's about the extent of my texting most of the time.
That's it.
I did a real good job lining this up with you today, doing all that texting. That was I almost had to fax you for sure.
So let's get back to the song a little bit there. We kind of ran off on a rabbit trail there, but
I will.
Yeah, I'll do it too. Don't worry. Don't worry, man. It makes a good listening conversation back later though. So it all works out, man. So so when can we expect this song, man? I know I know it's supposed to be coming out here pretty soon. When are we thinking that we're going to be able to get a good listen to this song?
Man, I really hope, and I don't want to. I really think November 1st, the 31st first, it should be out that night. If not, then the 7th or the 8th, it'll definitely be out. The first. Awesome. Either opening week of gun season in most everywhere, the 1st or the 9th. I know Arkansas is the 9th. I don't know how it is. I say most everywhere. I'm from Texas. We act like it's the whole damn country, but gun season opens in Texas the 2nd. So I was really trying to get it out by November 1st or November 8th. That first week of November is when we're trying to have it out, and awesome. I'm pretty sure that's going to line up good.
That'll be perfect, man. That'll be awesome. See, ours is the weekend before Thanksgiving. So we got another month and a half. Well, about a month from now is when we finally get to turn some dogs loose. So we got plenty of time. That'll be That'll be an awesome little motivation song, man. We'll get everybody pumped up here in Virginia and get them ready for shotgun season and deer dogging, and we'll get everybody excited with this song coming out.
Man, I this will be the first song that I wrote completely by myself that is going to be released anyway. Like the first song that we released as a band, I wrote that. And then JT Perry and Andy, the front man, Andy Metcalf, they went in and kind of spiced it up and made it a better song. And then I learned a lot through that. And then we cut one of JT's songs. It was the last release. But it's been a nervous, like, how is this going to go? How are people going to hear it? You know, like
right.
it has that, like, it has the potential to cause a ruckus, but then at the same time, on the flip coin of it, you could listen to it and really, really enjoy it.
That's right.
And it's not like, the deal about it for me is a lot of songs that you hear about running dogs or anything or more Southern rock or like the I don't know how to explain it. It's like that, like what you would listen to at a mud bogging competition, or something.
Yeah, right.
That, it's more that style of country, that heavier stuff, and this is just a straight up country tune. It's just like the instrumentation on it is country, like it's country as cornbread, and like it's not a rocking tune. It's just straight laced country, and it's got a flow, and it like the way he sings it is very. He don't get high, he don't get low, he just sings it straight through, and it kind of croons on it, and it's just I'm really excited to hear and what people have to say about it. I'm excited to get it out and see what it does. I have no idea. I have high hopes. I hope that it does well. I hope that people love it. I hope they can't get enough of it.
Well, but I can't wait to hear the finished product, because I know you sent me the rough cut on it and let me listen to the rough cut. And like I told you when I called you back after listening to it, it sent chills up my spine.
Yeah.
That ain't no doubt about that.
I've showed it to a couple other of our buddies, and JB Zelke, he's a lost cowboy, and if you ever get the chance, dude, check his book out. He wrote a book about cowboying on 6 different continents.
Oh, wow.
From Africa to South America to Mexico, and he's got insane stories in there. But I sent it to him, and he texted me back and said that he loved the lyric of it and the way it kind of told a story. And that was my goal in it to begin with. I had been trying as hard as I could to write a song that told a real story, which is a hard thing to do, like especially like using people's names or an animal's name and trying to paint a picture for somebody. I found it really hard to do, and it still is. I couldn't do it right now if you told me to.
Right.
But like that song felt easy to do, and really just knowing the terminology, like really understanding a concept and knowing the terminology enough to put it into words within a song. Like somebody said at some point, you got 60 words in a song, where most people like that write in journalism have a quota of 1,000 words. You know, and they can explain this whole story with and they can take you on this journey with 1,000 words, short story or whatever, for like a magazine article, Rolling Stone or whatever.
Right.
Well, as a songwriter, you've got 60 words to paint as good a picture. I mean, you can use more. I mean, there's no like certain thing, like 60 words is the number, but around 50 words is what you've got. So like you've got to make that story fit into a 3.5 minute, 4 minute song.
Right. You got to tell it until it quick.
It's got to take them on a journey where they feel something from it.
Yep.
And I like trying to wrap my head around that was just wild at first about doing it, just pulling it off. And then I wrote that song, and I was like, well, I guess that's how you do it. Okay, that makes sense. Let me do that again. And I've tried since then. It's
don't
been
work.
Hard. I haven't been able to do it since then, but
that works.
I got that one though.
Hell yeah. Well, man, I can't wait for the finished product to come out. Y'all listen, and be sure to check out our Facebook page. I'll be sure to be sharing it on there whenever it does come out and does drop. I'm super excited for the drop. The Hounds podcast is proud to partner with Cajun Lights, who have jumped on board to support the field trialing community. Do you have nighttime field trials? Pleasure running at night? When you need to catch that next crossing at night, put your trust in Cajun Lights. Cajun Lights is a made-in-America product out of North Carolina who has been in business for over 25 years. These are cap-style and bucket hat headlamps to free up that extra hand for your voice recorder or your GPS. Whether it's the Cajun Micro Gator for those late-night feeds, the cost-efficient Cajun Bayou for pleasure running, or the top-level Cajun Blinder for field trials, never miss a thing with these amazing lights. All the lights come with a 2-year warranty and a lifetime labor warranty. These guys are excited to get into our sport, ladies and gentlemen, so be sure, if you see me at Hunt, come ask me about them. I'll have one of each style on hand ready to show you. You can visit their website at CajunLights.com, and their phone number is 888-773-3080. Thank you, Cajun Lights, for coming on board with the Hounds Tales podcast. Now let's get back to the show. Where else can they find, when it does drop, where else can they find the music and some more music from the Creek Howlers, man?
Everywhere. We're anywhere you can stream or download music. You can find us. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name it. It's all over the place.
Love it. Some of y'all's TikTok's pretty funny too.
Yeah, well, the one funny, yeah. That was so we have an incredible marketing team that last year in Las Vegas, I was working the booth, and the coolest lady who literally knows everybody, Marcy Williamson, she hooked me up with Jerry Pogue with PSMG, Periscope Sports Management. And we've been working with them since probably February, and it's been awesome. Caleb is like, everything he sends me for artwork or videos, anything he does is just awesome. And like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not tech savvy. Like, I don't, like, if you go look at my Instagram, I haven't posted nothing since December last year. I'm not an active social media guy.
Yeah. I got
really,
you.
I'm not big on it. So like, having those guys to help us really build a brand around the band and like have structure. Cause like when in the band prior to this, I was learning. We were just running at the wind, trying as hard as we could, and we were learning. And I was realizing what would help us do it easier and everything. And like, coming into this, I really wanted to try to structure this more as successfully as I could for us to have the upper hand if we had the opportunity to pop or whatever would happen. Like, if we had a song go viral, I want to have somebody there that knows what the heck's going on to help me. Because with this game, like, it's smart. Yeah, if you have a song pop or with anything, if you got to get while it gets good. Yeah, you got to let the dog eat, if you know what I mean. Like, you got to go. Like, it's time to move. And I wanted to be ready for it when it happened. So we got a great team with us and helping build a brand. And we got a website. That's another place you can find us, is through our website. That'll have tour dates and sooner than later merch. We're going to have a Hounds Cry shirt coming out when the song drops, and we'll have some merch along with that. I want to try to do a Hunter's Orange hat with our logo and camo. I think that'd be kind of cool. But
yeah, that'd be pretty cool, man.
Do some stuff like that. And I want to, try to get it in front of as much people as we can. Play everywhere.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, I definitely, I can't wait for it to drop. Like I said, I've been lucky enough to hear the kind of rough cut version of it, and then that was excellent in itself. So I can only imagine the full version, the full edit and completed version is going to be even better. So I cannot wait, man.
Yeah, it's sick. When we went in the studio to finish everything a couple of weeks ago, we had the B3 and organ played on it the Saturday before. So when we went in there, the song was pretty much done. We just had to sing harmonies on a little bit of it to get it wrapped up and tightened up. And dude, the B3 and organ come in on that thing. It sounds huge. It's such the version that we have, the version I sent you and the one I have now, I don't have the final one yet, but I'll be getting it in the next couple of days. And then, when when I heard it in the studio, I was like, holy cow.
That's awesome.
This is a daggone country song now.
I can't wait. So y'all be sure to keep an eye out on all that. We're gonna keep you up to date as much as I can as possible, and can't wait to hear it out. So let's talk some dogs a little bit, man. We're hounds, but let's talk some dogs now that the music stuff has been talked about. Let's talk some dogs for a little bit. What kind of dogs are you running? I know you said you got some of your own. What all are you running right now?
Well, I kind of got a wild little pack. So the dogs that I got from Hayden that he got from Lance are half Walker, half Beagle. Okay. And I love that cross.
Yeah.
I like that. They're not great big dogs. They're not going to just flee the country.
That's right.
And these Gyps got a good handle on them. I have a pack of 4 Gyps that I'm running. I got a dog from Hayden that he got from Mr. King.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the dogs that Hayden and I have are a lot of the, kind of similar genetics. Like I got a dog named Cricket that I got from Mr. King as a puppy.
Right.
And Hayden has a dog that he calls King that is a half brother to the Gyp that I have. And the first ever race that we took her on was a hot one. And it happened immediately, and she was hooked from the word go. Hi. And she's been in that little pack of 4 Gyps run great together. They're all about the same size. They all travel about the same speed. Everybody kind of knows their deal, and they got them 2 older Gyps, Miss Blue and Amy. That's in the song. She got a little shout out in the Hounds Cry song.
Right.
She runs with those other 2, Cricket and the other little Gyp, and they run great together. And Cricket's a dang. She's out of a Walker male and a Mountain Cur female.
Oh, wow.
And I got her running deer dogs.
No
kidding. A wild little cross. Yeah, and I wanted her to be a squirrel dog.
That's what I'm saying. That sounds more like a tree.
Is what she does is if she gets on a hot squirrel track, she'll just tree that squirrel right there, and then you can kick her off that, and she'll go find a deer. So it's kind of cool. No, I'm kidding. You don't do that. But if it worked out that way, you could feed the family good. You have a smorgasbord of food that evening.
Oh, meat dog.
If shit hits the fan come WW3, I'm going to be all right because I got that combo unit. You know what I mean? We can shoot some bucks and we can bust some squirrels. And at night, if we need to go get a coon, you never know. She might be a coon dog too.
Might hit that too then. I love it. What was that, a meat dog, right?
That's that, yeah. That's that meat dog, yeah. Cricket's that meat dog.
Whatever she going to hit first, I like it. Send it.
No, she ain't trashy. She just likes to hunt. You know what I mean?
That's it. That's right. See, my luck, man, I don't know how you do it. I could not own 4 females. My luck, man, once season rolled in, every single one of them would come in heat.
Oh, and I bet it's going to happen.
Right. The daggone female dog, man, they're infamous for that. I mean, once season rolls in, they ain't gonna swell up at all. But once season rolls in, I promise you they're gonna start swelling.
Yeah, no, I believe it happened last season when we were in Arkansas. Mm-hmm. I believe it happened then. I think the Amy and Miss Blue Gyp come in that when we got to Arkansas last year.
Man. People give me, I'm a male dog guy. I love my male dogs. And people give me crap about it all the time. Because, I mean, females do start a whole lot quicker. I know they do. A lot of times they're a little faster, and a little easier to handle and stuff like that. But, man, you ain't ever got to worry about a male dog coming in heat.
No,
you know?
And what's wild is I had, like, the male Jack Russell, get out of now. That's enough. I had the male Jack Russell. Well, I got a female Feist.
Right.
My Jack Russell right now is a female. All my deer dogs are females. Everything I got is female these days. I don't know what happened.
It's funny how some people just end up that way. We got into trouble, this year. We got to looking back and like it was the opposite. We were just male, and like when you got nothing but males, you don't have nothing to breed to. At least if you got a female, you can step out and say, hey, I'll get a stud dog. Go to a stud dog and produce. But when you got nothing but males, you in trouble.
Yeah, you'll be in bind quick.
Yeah, that's for daggone sure. Man. So, those 4 females, are those all? I guess those are all just your deer dogs.
Yes.
Gotcha. You got other dogs?
I do. I got a little Feist that I squirrel hunt with.
Mm-hmm.
She's a cool little dog. And then I hunt with Hayden a lot too. And he's got a pile of dogs.
I got
He got
you.
all kind of stuff.
I got you.
He's got some walkers, and he's got some more a couple more full sisters that are the walker beagle crosses too. So,
And I've actually I'm going to pick it up probably in the next day or two. I am going to be getting something I've always thought was a beautiful hound. My cousin actually has some, and she's given me one. She had a litter that she wasn't exactly ready for, and I'm getting an American leopard hound. And I want to teach it to. I want to train it to run deer, and I'm going to actually try. It's probably completely useless around here, honestly, but I think it's a cool thing. I thought it's a neat off kilter kind of deal. You don't see many, if any, American leopard hounds running deer from the get go. And I want to teach it to rig, like how bear hounds rig off the side of the road and win bear off the side of the road. I want to teach it to rig for deer. I just thought that would be so unique. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a cool looking dog too.
Oh, dude, they're so wild, man. They're so cool. I've always wanted one. She hit me up the other day and she's like, "Look, I'll give you one of these things." I'm like, "All right, fine. You bent my arm. You bent my arm."
Yeah, they look good. I'm looking at a picture of one right now. That's a pretty cool looking dog.
Yeah, they're different, man. They're so different. And it's not nothing that I'm normally, I've always grown up being a long-legged walker dog. I love absolutely putting a government goat in the wind. Like, I want to drive that sucker to the next county. And but like you're talking though, that those half and halves like y'all are running, as much as I hate to say it, that's almost what you're starting to have to. Especially, I don't know what y'all's land layout is down there, but ours is getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. All these people keep moving in, building houses and stuff like that, and it's getting harder and harder to run the big long-legged dogs on the outside.
Yeah.
These beagles and these half and halves are going to be the way that deer dog hunting is going to have to go, unfortunately. And I'm, you can ask everybody around here, man. I'm terrible. I'll rag on a beagle in a second.
Mm-hmm.
I'll rag on a beagle in a second.
40 of them get you going.
That's it.
all that nonsense going on.
That's it. I tell the story all the time. I said the last deer I killed in front of a beagle, I had time to kill the deer, get it, go put it on the back of the truck, come back to where I killed it, and then I caught the beagles.
Oh, you better know where they're going and be way ahead of them. The cool thing about the half and half is, like, they don't bark like a beagle does when it's headed. Like, they don't just keep barking the entire time. Like, they'll shut up and hunt for a minute, and then they'll start doing the thing when they need to. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's
Walker
what's
style.
cool about them. Yeah. And like Hayden's got a couple of walkers that'll fly. Like, he's got two that run good together. They're fun to hunt with.
Yeah.
And you cannot catch them. They're gone. When they leave, they're gone. Don't turn them out after about lunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do y'all hunt like pretty big tracts of land down there? I know y'all said y'all were hunting on the WMAs and stuff like that. Like, how big is your kind of your hunting areas down there?
Well, in Arkansas, like, we'll hunt that WMA, and I'm not totally sure how big that is, but we also hunt the Ouachita National Forest there in Arkansas, and it's give me a second, I'll tell you. And it's, well, I think that's wrong, but it's several thousand acres. It says 300 and something thousand. That's foolish. It can't be that many. But it yeah, I guess it is.
It may very well be. I mean, Texas is a massive. I mean, Arkansas. I mean, all those states down there are massive. So
yeah, well, the spot that we hunt in, it can't be more than a couple thousand acres, just where we hunt at in that area. But we're really lucky to live, like, where we live at in Texas is all national forest. So, like, I've been bow hunting a bunch in the last couple of weeks, and I'm hunting on a 4,000 acre spot down a dirt road which it connects to the 3154 here where I live and all that. So, like, it's a big spot, but like the national forest in Arkansas, it's everywhere. There's small tracts of private and huge tracts of national forest. So, like, and the thing about the national forest, I guess from what I understand is it really ain't going nowhere because the government ain't selling it. You know what I mean?
Right.
That I hope. I mean, I hope that it doesn't get to the point to where they're having to turn national forest land into housing development because there's whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, still thousands of acres is that's an awesome.
Yeah.
I bet that's just, oh my gosh, I just couldn't even imagine. See, we don't get a lot of
Oh.
that up here in our area. It's, 1,000 or, maybe 2,000 at the most. That's the kind of acreage that we're fighting on and stuff like that. That's why these long-legged walkers are really hard to do unless you got a bunch of connecting tracks.
Yeah, like right across.
Go ahead.
Right across the street from my house, like if you go down my road, there's my folks' place, the Dial's place, and a couple other people, and we're like right in. There's 3,500 acres right across the street from my house. That's all just national forest.
Wow, just nothing but open track.
Yeah, it's just timber. It's all pine and oak timber. Like it's not like plantation or nothing. It's just like old growth stuff. I mean, they go in and cut it, and they'll cut it. They do it like a WMA,
right,
but not like a WMA. Like a WMA, it's sanctioned off, and they've got it to where that, like, if you see a WMA, it's plantation timber all the way through. From what I've seen in Arkansas with the WMA that we hunt, it looks like plantation timber to me.
Right.
Where here it's just straight running national forest. Like it's just, there's no tree rows. It's just wild.
Y'all got a lot of flatlands down there, right?
It's pretty flat. I wouldn't call it big. We got get out, man. Get out. We got some kind of hills, but I wouldn't call them. It's mostly flat. Yeah,
I got you.
It's pretty flat.
I got you, man. I've been dying to go run some flatland on some deer, man. I'd love to get to experience that. So everything we got up here is. I won't call it mountains because it's not like we're directly in the Appalachian Mountains and nothing like that. We're just east of them a little bit, but it's enough rolling hills and stuff like that to make it. We're not flat. We're not mountains. We're somewhere in between. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of how it is in Arkansas. Like you go to Colorado, those are mountains or whatever. Those are huge mountains. But like in Arkansas, they call it the Ouachita Mountains, and it's big hills. Like, I mean, you've got 1,500 foot at the top of it down to, the ground at whatever it is. But,
right.
I guess 0. But here, like where I'm from or like Louisiana or whatever, it's pretty flat. Like there's not, you got maybe 200 or 300 foot in elevation change, where when you get in Arkansas, it's 1,500 foot in elevation change.
Right.
Like from the bottom up over the ridge or whatever, which I like that hunting too, because you can kind of, where the deer are going to be. Like if you can read the thermals or do a little bit of scouting, you kind of know where they're going to be bedding, on what side of the ridge they're going to be on and all that. So you kind of turn your dogs loose in a better spot. And
that's right.
And if you ran dogs enough that you kind of figure out, well, this is where they're going, this is kind of where they're crossing, you can kind of cheat them a little bit.
Dude, that's such an art.
Tell you too. Oh, dude, what's wild is everybody thinks that it's not fair when you run a dog, but I think they've got the better advantage when you're running a dog because they're running. They're already running. They're not standing still at your feet or eating corn. They're moving. Everything's happening fast, so you've kind of got to shoot quick, Sheriff. You know what I mean?
Yep. I say it all the time I say it all the freaking time that dog hunting deer is the most ethical form of deer hunting out there. It is the most ethical. I mean, how many other forms of deer hunting do you give the deer an absolute 110%? Hey, just letting you know, we are trying to kill you, and we're going to give you a chance here. This is your chance to get out and get away.
Yeah.
Any other form. Right. Any other form, the deer is just unsuspecting. Has no idea that he's getting ready to come and is going into the end of his life. But when you're turning loose a pack of hounds on a deer, that deer says, oh crap, I got to get out of this situation. And the good ones, the big ones don't get big for no reason. That's a big phrase for us around here. And they have a fighting chance. And that's why I've always said that deer dog hunting is the most ethical form of deer hunting out there.
And I can tell you right now, there's some people that if you take them, they may not like it. I've got a friend that he'd rather go hog hunting.
Yeah.
But I feel like a good majority of people that go are gonna end up liking it.
Yep. 100%.
If you kind of like, really the first time you go, you don't know what the heck's going on, and it seems like organized chaos. And once you figure it out, or you have the GPS, and you can kind of watch what's going on, you can see, oh, this is what they're doing. This is where they're at. This is how it's working, and everything starts to kind of click. That's when it really gets fun, or when it got fun for me. Was understanding what the heck was going on, and being able to head the dogs off if you had to, or they were about to get out of this track, and you had to cut them off, or whatever the case may be, or going in the woods to find a stand to sit in, and that you think the deer are going to come by you when they, because I guess in Arkansas they run those ridge lines, or what is it, the path of least.
That's it. Path of least resistance. Yep.
There you go.
Yep. That's it. Well, and it's like you said, there's certain times, and I said earlier, there's an art to it. When we have up here, we'll get high winds up here, and it's bitter cold, and when the winds are up here, we got a lot of short pines and a lot of cutovers and stuff like that. If the wind is up, you can almost guarantee they're going to be in those short pines, those short, thick pines getting out of the wind. They're going to be on a cutover that's a grown up cutover, that they can bed down in and get out from the wind. They're not going to be in these big open oaks and tall trees and stuff like that where the wind's going to cut through them and get to them really easy. They're going to be in something that can hide. And the fact that people don't understand that, it's like we've had people go to cast in 15, 20 mile an hour winds and on a 30-degree day, and they go to this big open oak area or go into a fresh cutover that there's no coverage, and I'll turn around and go get some other stuff done, or I'll go off and take a snooze somewhere. And they're like, "Where'd you go?" I'm like, "Did you jump?" And then they're like, "No, we never jumped." I'm like, I knew you weren't going to jump. That's why I went and took a nap real quick. I ain't trying to be rude, but at the same time, I knew what was going to happen there. I didn't waste my time, and it's like I said, it's an art behind it, and it's so much to learn and how the deer work and how the deer move, man.
I feel like it's learned, like just running the dogs has made me a better still hunter. Even understanding where they're going to be at. Like I have even found in even just this season, something that has been a big learning thing for me was like they're going to be where you're not. You know what I mean? The deer are going to be where you don't think they're going to be. Like if it looks like a sweet spot for a buck to hang out at, he ain't going to be there. Yep. He's going to be over in that crappy briar thicket is where he's going to hang out at. You don't think he's going to fit in, or whatever the case may be. That's where he's going to hang out at.
Yep,
so
that's right.
Like just knowing that gives you more of an advantage, and you can kind of get to where the more you do it, the better you'll get at jumping one, and you'll kind of know, like, especially when you hunt a certain area, you know where they're going to be.
That's
like if
right.
You've been there 10 times, you know where to turn out at. You know where you're going to kill the deer at. You know where the deer are hanging out, because like deer are going to hang out where the deer before them hung out. There's going to, like that scrape that a buck laid 5 years ago, there's going to be another one come through there and probably hang out in the same area, rub the same trees and all that stuff. Like there's a pattern within all that stuff that I feel like.
That's it. Creatures of habit. So. Very much creatures of habit. We're talking about how the deer have a fighting chance. It reminded me of a story. We had turned loose, and I don't think my dogs had jumped this one. I think I packed to it, and it was 3 bucks, 3 good-sized bucks. And these bucks went down. It was a pretty fresh cutover, and it was way out of shooting range. But I watched the bucks go down to this creek bottom, and then I lost them. I was like, all right, well, they just ran the creek bottom, and all the dogs go down there. All the dogs blow it up down in the creek bottom. I'm like, what in the world? What happened? I mean, it's a good set of dogs. They just blew it up. They went off and got on to something else and just lost it. So I'm like, I said, something ain't right. So I grabbed the one dog I had left in the truck and walked down to the bottom where I last seen the deer. And when I got down there was 3 buckhorns in the creek. The bucks had waded in the creek and had submerged themselves in the creek to where they couldn't be scented or couldn't be seen. And I just happened to get lucky and step up on top of them. But they had hid their scent and hid themselves in the creek and in some coverage. And the dogs, it just blew the dogs' minds. That's the kind of thing I tell people. It's like, and you think that the deer ain't smart enough to get away? Like these deer have such a good chance to get away.
Yeah, like a swamp rabbit to do the same thing. A rabbit will run down a creek and then come out, and then the dogs lose it too.
Yep, 100%, 100%.
I've seen that happen.
But so let's kind of talk a little bit. What I want to kind of move on a little bit here on the same premise, but I want to talk about this hunting world, man. It's obviously taken a big part of your life. It seems like it's a huge part. So what does the hound hunting world mean to you? I know that's kind of a very open question there, but that's just one of the things that me and you kind of talked about and want to touch on. Like what is it that gives you that drive to run these hounds and keep doing what you're doing with them?
I like getting off in the woods, being quiet.
Yep.
And doing it. Just being where nobody else is, not being bothered, not having to do anything else. That's what's fun about it for me. Nothing else is going on at that time,
Yep.
The phone don't matter. Most of the time you ain't got signal anyway.
I like that.
That's the coolest part about it is just being out there in quietness, and you can think about a lot of stuff.
Oh, dude.
I like getting by myself and doing stuff anyway. I'm kind of a loner when it comes to doing. I've traveled by myself a lot to the shows or whatever. My whole band's out of Oklahoma. The rest of the guys all live in Oklahoma between Stillwater and McAllister. So for me to get to the rig and go to a show, I've got to either drive to Oklahoma, or if we got one down here, they'll all come to my house and we'll disperse from my house or Andy's. And
right.
so we drive a lot. I'm a 6-hour drive, and
whew.
I wrote 3 or 4 of the other songs on this record just on the drive up to Andy's. 2 of them I know for sure were on the drive up there, and then I wrote a lot of songs just driving down the road. Like that's been a big thing for me. Just being able to think and not be bothered, and nothing else is really going on at a lot of time. That's a big thing for me about running the dogs is. Yep. And even squirrel hunting, you go in there, you're with the dog, like that's what's going on. You're not worried about the taxes or whatever else you got going on. It don't matter at the time. You're just in the woods.
What was the thing I seen on Facebook the other day? It said, I can't remember exactly the wordage of it, but it was like a man walks into the woods, like when it's talking about when somebody's hunting, it's like a man walks into the woods and comes out with a whole lot less. And it was like, man, that speaks right there, dude. That speaks so loud.
Yeah, that's a needle on the head. And like, I know I keep jumping back to the song thing, but like that's where that nothing will take you back like the sound of a good hound cry. That's kind of where that idea come from, was like nothing else was going on at that moment. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like from where we're at in Texas, it's been outlawed since the 90s. So it's kind of a thing that's like of the past, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's one of those longing for nostalgia type deals. And that was the direction I went on that, and tried my best to put it in words in a sentence of a song that like made somebody understand what I was trying to say with what the hunting has to do with it. Like and it's not all about killing it. I could care less to.
Yeah, that's right.
I could care less. Kill anything. Hell, I ain't a great shot anyway. I miss about half the stuff I shoot at. But
well, when I said earlier about it sent chills down my spine when I listened to it, that line right there that you just mentioned, that was the one that did it for me. When that line was spoke, it was like, oh, that's it. That's it.
Yeah,
that's the money line right there.
Dude, I really wish that I could completely remember doing it, like writing that, because I don't. It happened back in January.
Right.
I've lived 10 lives since then, it feels like. But
Right.
I really wish that I could remember how that line came to me, but I can't for the life of me remember
dude,
how I come up with that.
That's the knock it out of the park home run line right there for the song for me. That was the one. Like I said, that was the needle on the head. That was the home grand slam. That one did it for me. Chills up the spine instantly.
Yeah, it definitely tied it. It tied it in. What's really cool about the song to me, and that I didn't realize until, and which with most of the songs I've written, a lot of the songs on this record, I would write them, and then I'd go back a couple of weeks later and then look at them and then either show them to the guys or never bring them up. And
right.
that song was one where a couple of weeks later I went back to it, and I realized what I'd wrote after I did it was like the first verse complements the chorus. The second verse complements the chorus complements the second verse. Then the bridge, where the breakdown to where it feels like we wanted to make that feeling to where it felt like the dogs were, like everything was happening, like the deer's on top of you, the dogs are coming, like that was the feeling of that part that I was trying to get across with the running wide open as he busted the brush. Looks like you've been dealt the royal flush.
Right.
I tried to have my terminology and my lingo correct to where somebody like one of them old cats that's been doing this for 40 years could hear it and be like, oh, that's cool.
That's it.
I like what he did there. Instead of, hearing it and going, well, that boy don't know what the hell he's talking about. Because it could have very well landed that way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It could have very well went the other way.
Oh, I love it. I love it, man. I love the passion you definitely have behind you with it. I think that definitely led him to be on to write such a good song. So, but we brought up Texas a couple times here. I want to touch base on that. I think if my research is correct, it was 99 or 2000 is when deer dog hunting in Texas got outlawed.
Right. I think that it started in 94, 93 or 94. Man West had told me that story about when it happened. He quit then. He knew that he would get in trouble. And I think it was started getting outlawed then. And I think when it became because I believe, if what I'm not mistaken, is like, have you ever heard of that Prince of Poachers guy?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I got fascinated with his stories. He's an incredible storyteller.
Okay.
This guy's, he's got insane stories.
Yeah.
Well, he was telling a part about when it became a felony, that's when he quit. Well, when it was just a ticket, he kept on doing it or whatever. So I think if I'm probably wrong as it gets on this, but I think it started in 94, and when it finally became a felony to where it was just completely illegal to pursue deer with dogs is kind of around that time through the middle to late 90s. At some point through there is when it they cracked down on it real hard.
Right. And and this is a stat that I've brought up in several of the DWR meetings up here, because they're fighting us tooth and nail for it up here. And not that it's everything, and it may not be a direct correlation to it, but to me it seems like it kind of is. But the estimated white-tailed deer population in Texas in 2000, okay, so this was fairly close to when the end of it was for deer dog hunting down there, was 660,000 white-tailed deer in the state of Texas. Estimated deer population in Texas today is 5.3 million.
Yeah.
So 4.5 million plus white-tailed deer over a 20-year period because deer dog hunting was out. I'm sure there's a lot of other stipulations and a lot of other factors behind it, but I guarantee you that number would not be anywhere near as drastic if deer dog hunting was allowed.
No, and like there's a ton. Like where we're at, if I drove down to the end of this road here, I could probably see 10 on the side of the road.
Right.
Like they're everywhere around here.
And it's just nuts. Like, how do other states, especially ones that still have it, not look at that and be like, oh crap, I see what happened. I mean, being there, like it sounds like you've seen that direct effect of since since it was outlawed? I mean, it seems, am I talking out of my tail here, or does that seem like it was a direct connection to that?
No, I think a lot of it has to do too with management of hunting. Like they're like, we have here in Texas, they'll open MLDs, and I'm slipping on what that actually means, but they'll have they have MLDs, and you can, like, they'll take, like, the place behind my dad's over here is an MLD lease, and they have like a quota of 60 does or whatever the case may be. Well, in 10 years ago, the pasture beside his place, at night you would see there'd be 60 to 80 out there in that field, where now there's none. Like, he don't hardly, there's 4 or 5 does that hang out there now. And like, used to, there would be, like, you could turn around there and you could see just that pasture would light up. He would go show it to me when I was young. We would turn the truck around and look at them there, and like, there'd be deer everywhere.
Right.
And now there's none. And he bought the place right next to it. So, and he lives there now, and he's got, 2 feeders there, and there's just not as many deer at all. And I think that has something to do with it, which I don't know where they're counting these deer at.
Right.
But I've hunted harder this year, still hunting like with a bow, than I have the last several years, and I haven't seen as many deer as I used to see 10 years ago.
Right.
Like, I don't know. It's very odd to me what's going on with it. Like, I don't see as many deer anymore, but they're saying we have more. I don't know.
I don't know.
Are they counting high fences? You know what I mean? Like, is that
right? Right.
Is that
right? Who knows? I mean, and that's kind of taken over down there a lot, hasn't it? I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong, but y'all have had a lot of the high fence stuff taken over down that direction, right?
So, dude, so my dad had a deer lease right outside of town in Cheetah that was 400 acres or something. Well, I shot a 12-point when I was 13 or something.
Right.
And there was no high fences around us.
Right.
Within 5 years, the place that the 13-point walked off of onto ours is now high fenced. Across the street's high fenced. If you drive down 355, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 high fences down a 20-mile, or I wouldn't say a 15-mile road. They're all back in the dirt roads. There's so many high fences around here now. Like, I remember going to South Texas when I was young and thinking, man, there's lots of high fences down here. This is cool. And then they started happening up here, and I was like, well, this ain't that cool anymore.
Right.
All these high
Right. This ain't it.
No, we don't need to have them around here. But,
yeah, that's
but
awful.
and I get it. I get it. I mean, that's like I say with the dog hunting deal. It's a money thing. I really think when the world we live in, somebody gets their feelings hurt, somebody want to try to help them out because they got their feelings hurt. Well, it's going to hurt the person that hurt their feelings. Well, at some point, quit crying. Get over it. You know what I mean? Like, enough is enough.
That's it. Well, it definitely looks like, the loss of deer dog hunting is definitely taking a big effect on Texas, and I hope that's something that's a lot of the other states can look at and see, that the negative side effects of losing your deer dog hunting, what it can do,
Yeah.
But, well, man, we're creeping up, actually, believe it or not, on the 2-hour mark here. So we'll definitely be able to make 2 episodes out of this one. This has been great, man. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. Before we finish this thing, I want to hit this closing topic, man. This is one I think you can, I think you'd be good to touch on is, what can we do as houndsmen and women to protect the sport that we love? What do you think we can do to help, preserve deer dog hunting, or just dog hunting in general in the United States?
Get along.
Fair.
I think if the hog hunters and the deer hunters and the coon hunters and the squirrel hunters and the bear hunters and mountain hunter, lion hunter, whatever kind of sport dog that you're into, I think if everybody would be on the same page instead of, it seems like, in today's world, everybody's, well, it don't affect me, so I'm not worried about it. You know what I mean? Everybody says that, even with, you know, what's going on with the politics right now. Everybody, well, I'm not voting because my vote's not going to count. Well, yeah, it does. You know what I mean? It's the same way with our dogs. You know, like we're a small, like the dog hunter's got a small voice until you get everybody together, and then it's got a big voice. What's the picture you always see of the shark eating all the fish disguised as a shark eating the shark, or whatever it is, or however that picture works. Like if everybody would just unite, if everybody would unite, get together of some fashion, and I know they've got this Hounds Alliance thing going on now, and I think that that's a great thing if it's headed to do what I believe that it's going to do. I think that they've got a great group behind it. Yeah, intelligent folks. I think they've got some lawyers on board with it that are on the board that actually hunt. As far as what I'm understanding, they've got some really class act individuals behind that. I think that that's going to be a great thing. I wish it would have come along 20 years ago, but it's better late than never. Hopefully we can save it where it's at. Right. Like Arkansas is on the chopping block. But what they passed in Arkansas was a 2-year deal to where you have the last 9 days in those certain sections. Like Arkansas is cut up into like 11 or 15 or whatever it is sections. Well, the last 9 days in each area that you can run dogs in, and each area is different. Like the area right next to this, it may be November 23rd through December 1st, and then right over here it may be December 10th through the 19th or whatever. So you can kind of, I don't know how the laws are, and I mean, I don't know how it's going to work. Yeah. But I'm on a lease in one section and the National Forest and the WMA in another, so if it works out, I don't know if it's going to give me 20 days or 18 days to hunt. Right. I don't know if that's going to work like that. I don't know. It'd be nice if it does, though, won't it? Find out. Right. What? Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be awesome. It'll be awesome. But
yeah, all right.
I know that if we all could just get on the same page with something, whether it be this National Houndsman Alliance, and I think we just need to, like, and I don't know how it would work. I don't know if you could even bring it back, or if it would even be an option like here in Texas, if we could get the National Houndsman Alliance to help fight that, or even preserve it where it's at. Start there is where I would start, and then work on where you could. But is that something that could we bring deer hunting with dogs back to Texas? I don't see why not. Like, everybody looks at it like, you know, oh, it's a lost cause, we can't do it. But why? Why is that not, like, why? Yep. Why?
Yep. I'm the same way.
Please tell me why.
Yep. I'm the same way. That's how they talk about pen hunts. You know, the building pens here in Virginia. You know, that got fox hunting and fox pens and stuff like that. That's a whole other subject. But you know, they're not allowed. We can still do it, but we're not allowed to build anymore.
Really?
And people are like, oh, it's never going to come back. I'm like, why? Why will it never come back? Why can't we not fight for it? Why can we not build some kind of momentum behind this? But you know, and you were talking about it. You mentioned some stuff earlier, reminded me. I had a conversation with a guy earlier today, actually. And I've had it with a couple of the guys that run some other podcasts, like my buddy Heath Hyatt. We've had this conversation. I don't know what we have to do to not get them angry and get them mad, but get people up and get them in arms and get them fighting for the rights, and get them to come to meetings and speak up and do the right things and join together. Like you said, you know, you hit the nail on the head with that. Just join together, join arms. You know, what do we got to do to get people fired up about dog hunting again? It's almost like it's just become this, well, this is what we've always done, and if it's never gone away, so it's never going to go away. And there's just no motivation to try to save it. Like, I don't understand. I don't know what we got to do to get people up and fired up about it.
I'll say this. With, like, the group of folks that I hunt with around here, we all talk about it amongst ourselves of how ridiculous it is.
Right.
But what can we do? Yeah. Who are we going to talk to? We don't know how to go to legislature or whoever it is and say, hey, we want this done. And we sound like a bunch of hillbillies when we get there. it's almost like we need somebody that can speak on our behalf, but we need to stand behind them as a united front. Like, we need to be standing there with our pistols drawn or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But we I don't even know. Like, that's a $1 million question. How do we go about combating this or fighting against it? Well,
right.
If me and you we can talk about it, but what can we actually do? Like, what is an avenue that we can go, hey, we would like to still run our dogs. Why come they can go bow hunt in the woods, but we can't turn Sally and Jake loose to go get Bambi? You know what I mean? Why can't we do this?
Well,
you know what I mean?
I've always made it a challenge because I could almost, I don't know about, all the states, but I know in Virginia, there's every year, there's always a landowner or an organization or something that's speaking up during, the Department of Wildlife meetings, and they're talking against dog hunting. I've always said everybody is willing to take off days to go hunt, take off work days to go hunt. They're willing to take off days to go to a field trial. They're willing to take off days and call in sick and just to have some time off.
Yeah.
I challenge every houndsman in your state to look up your DWR meetings and if you go to one a year and wear an orange hat to the meeting, you don't even have to speak. If you are there and you have an organization, like Virginia's got a great organization with the Dog Hunting Alliance chapter. I mean, the Dog Hunting Alliance, excuse me. And they're going to pretty much be there, or somebody from it's going to be there and probably speaking at a DWR meeting. If you can just be there and be present and show them that, hey, I'm here, I'm a dog hunter, I'm here I'm here in presence. That right there speaks more volume than people can think.
Yeah, and that's something like even I'm ignorant to. That's something that we just need to figure out how to let people know, everybody know that. Like, right. I didn't even know that was even an option. Like, I had no idea, really, to be honest with you.
Right.
And I know if I don't know, I'm decent at doing my research on things. I'll read up a lot of stuff, and I had no idea about that. So I think even if we could get that onto people, because with the Arkansas deal this year, they sent out several of those email this councilmen and whatever, and we all did. Everybody that I know that hunts with us all sent our stuff in, and we tried to share it and what have you on Facebook. But at the end of the day, it can only go so far.
That's right.
But if everybody could show up in the flesh and be there, like, that's way better than sending an email.
That's it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sending the emails are great. They are great. But if you can band together and, I know Virginia has what they call a lobby day. So you can go, we go to Richmond and we get to talk to these people that are in the Senate and in Congress and that kind of stuff, and we actually get to go into their office, your legislators and stuff like that. You get to go into their office and speak to these guys and just say, hey, like if I went, I would be, hey, I'm James Hudson. I just want to bring to light that we would like hound hunting rights to be protected in the state, in our area. I hope that you're on our side. Just want to shake your hand, introduce yourselves. And, I hope that you can, just help us protect our dog hunting rights. That kind of thing. Absolutely. Right there. And you don't, like you said, and that's not everybody's cup of tea, but if you have one person from an organization that you can take and say, hey, if you'll speak, I'll be right behind you. I'll be right behind you with it. And 14, 15 houndsmen walk into this dude's room and he's like, okay, hello, I see y'all. Now I see you. I'm putting names to faces. Y'all respectful. And I'm listening. That stuff right there is huge, man. Huge. Yeah.
And you said something that is that I'm glad you said. Respectful is a big deal.
Yep.
I think I ran into a guy where we were hunting last year. It was a property owner, and this is one of my second trip to Arkansas last year, and we hunted the same spot. Well, he come out, met me at the road. I was driving by, and he did naturally cuss me.
Right.
And I was like, hey, man, these ain't even and like my dogs weren't out. I didn't have the set of dogs that I have now. So I didn't have any dogs even on this trip at the time. I didn't take any this trip.
Right.
So I had didn't have a dog in the fight.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey man, these ain't my dogs, but I'm just trying to help these guys catch them. And
right.
he was gruffy and mad about it. But I wish, and I tried to be as respectful as I could to him. But I wish that they would just, instead of getting mad about it, come go with us.
That's it.
You got anything doing this evening? Just come on. Come
get in the truck.
Just experience it for a second. Yeah. And try that instead of getting mad and calling bull on it. Like, just experience it one time. And if you still don't like it, then okay.
Fine. Right.
But if you do, you might have some dogs next season. You know what I mean?
That's right.
We'll just stay at your place.
That's it. That's right. That's right. But well, man, this has been fun. I really hope the song does well. You know, by the time these drop, like I said, we'll be able to split these two into two. So, you know, by the time these episodes drop, man, we ought to be close, if not on past it, and that song should be out. So, I can't thank you enough for joining me, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I knew I wanted to get on a couple of hound podcasts, and I reached out to you, and it wasn't. I mean, I was on my way to a show in Fort Worth when I reached out to you, and it wasn't. I mean, I talked to you on the way up there.
Yeah.
You know, it was that fast, and I thought that was pretty cool. And to get to be on this, I've listened to a ton of these episodes that you put out, and it's a great podcast, and I like listening to it.
I appreciate.
I've learned a lot about hunting in different states that I would have never been able to hear had I not listened to this show. So it's been fun. I'm glad to get to talk to it. Anytime I can promote something that I enjoy and hope that somebody listens to it and
absolutely
maybe agrees, that's always great. If they disagree, I mean, everybody's entitled to that opinion, you know.
That's right. That's right. Well, I definitely appreciate it. I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate the kind words, man. And I'll definitely see if I can't hook you up with a few more. I know a few guys from some other dog hunting podcasts. Maybe we can get you on them as well and help promote your song and have some other dog hunting conversation with some guys.
Yeah, if by the grace of God we get out to we get to play some shows in Virginia, you have to come check it out.
Oh, absolutely! Don't you better count me there, and we can go run some dogs after it's all said and done too. Come on.
We'll try to schedule it about mid-November, right?
That's perfect. That or early December, whichever one.
Early December works. I like that.
Yeah. So. All right, guys. Well, thank y'all so much for listening. Again, y'all keep an eye out on all your listening platforms for this song coming out. I cannot wait to hear it, man. And everybody out there listening, thank y'all so much. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Definitely helps keep our ratings up and helps get up to more listeners like y'all. So thank y'all, everybody, for listening. And like always, guys, happy hunting.